Hello, everyone. My name is Khadija LaShawn, also known as your Black Guidance Counselor. I am an influencer as well as a full-time entrepreneur, and I'm here to guide you to the resources that you need. One major resource that I have for you guys today is called InstaAlignment. That is the reason why you are here, and I thank you for valuing my course, and I hope and pray that you get as much value from it as possible. Before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the name InstaAlignment and briefly just touch on how like you may be watching this course right now because at a moment in your life, you're in a moment where you don't feel like you're where you're supposed to be. You feel like you're a hamster on a wheel. You're just running, but you're not getting to where you want to go. A lot of us, we're scared to dream, or we do dream, but we're scared to go after those dreams. So I'm here to tell you today that your life is yours. The decision is yours. It's all in your hand about where you want to go, which direction you want to go, which path you want to follow. But I am here to guide you to successful paths. I'm here to guide you to solid paths that work right now in today's time, not textbooks teaching you something that you're not even going to use when you go to work, or teaching you something that is outdated. I'm teaching you based on experiences that I've had, as well as things that I've taken the time to really research so that I can share the right knowledge with you all. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for even tuning into this e-course and hearing me out. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to really get into it there. I have a really good PowerPoint and everything laid out. Don't feel pressure to take notes. I want to make sure that you can listen to this multiple times. You know, you're going to have access to this forever. So I want you guys to really listen. I want you guys to listen, because part of being successful is about being coachable. It's about your mindset. It's about knowing that you can follow your dreams and be successful. It's knowing that. And it's not something that just happens overnight. It's not something that just, you know, some people are just born. A lot of people are born not believing in themselves. And that idea is like punched in by the people around you, intentionally or unintentionally. So I want to be that coach, that guide for you, to show you that you can follow your own path. Like, here's a path. Here's someone who's done it. You know, here's a solid example of someone who's done what it is you are interested in doing, or you may be interested in doing. But the truth is that you already did the first thing by investing in yourself. So congratulations. You invested in yourself. You're taking yourself seriously. You're taking your journey seriously. And I'm going to take you seriously as well and share as much value with you all as possible. So without further ado, because I can keep going, I'm going to get started. All right. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you all. Let me see. Google Chrome. Share. So I'm wondering if am I still in this corner? Can y'all still see me? I hope that y'all can still see me. I'm going to present. I'm really hoping that y'all can still see me over there. All right. All right, let's get started, y'all. InstaAlignment. This course is going to teach you exactly how to convert your liabilities into cash flowing assets to manifest the life of your dreams. A lot of us, we want to follow our passions, follow our dreams, but we don't pay attention to the money. You have to pay attention to the money, you guys. Money matters in the US, anywhere. Money matters. And the ability to make your own money is the difference between you and the next person. It's the difference between you being able to afford your rent, or afford your bills, or afford your expenses, versus not being able to, because all these taxes and stuff were taken out of your money. So that's a whole different story. We're going to get into it. So I hope you guys are excited as I am to share this knowledge with you all. I work very hard on this, so please bear with me, okay? A little brief disclosure to everyone. This is not legal advice. This is simply business, entrepreneurial, spiritual advice. This is all that is. I'm not a licensed coach or anything. This is me sharing based off of my experiences and my knowledge, okay? I feel so nervous all of a sudden. All right, so let's get to the next slide. So first off, let me ask y'all, why do you need this course? So let me tell you, there's a lot of reasons why you could need this course in your life. One of them could be that you don't have a work-life balance. Your job works the hell out of you. The money doesn't match how much effort you're putting in. That could be a reason. Another reason could be that, and this is something I realized while I was still in the workforce, was that there are no really real stable jobs out there anymore other than legal, tech, or med fields, which is frustrating because those fields involve a lot of debt. You know, a lot of doctors and lawyers and you know, professionals, I guess you could say, they have a lot of debt and they have to make a lot of money to start paying back that debt. So that's a whole nother thing that I want to explain to you guys. Is a lot of people are taught college is the only way to be successful. You have to go to college to be successful. I went to college and I can tell you all the things that I'm doing now, I didn't have to go to college for. In fact, I wish I didn't have that burden of debt, but it was a necessary evil because that experience can bring me to you today to tell you, hey, you don't have to go to college. You know, there are different routes that you can follow that don't involve college. Another reason why you need this e-course in your life is maybe your debt to income ratio is out the wazoo, meaning you have a lot of credit card debt, you have a lot of student loans, maybe you have a house, you have a car, you know, you have all these bills that are adding up, but your income is like, you know, you're still living paycheck to paycheck. So that's why you need this course, because you need to allow yourself other opportunities to make income and to make potentially more than what you're making right now. So that's one thing. The last couple of things I would say is that maybe because you realize that taxes are not friendly to employees. Taxes are not friendly to employees. Taxes are friendly to businesses and entrepreneurs. So that's another reason why you definitely need this course in your life. Maybe you're stressed out. Maybe you're dealing with all the anxiety that comes with working a 9 to 5. Maybe you're experiencing hostile work environments. You know, being of color, a lot of people of color, we experience different experiences than maybe the typical corporate person, if you know what I mean. So there's definitely a lot of stress, and I want to alleviate some of that with this information. So some reasons why you need this course is that, number one, being an entrepreneur is a write-off, which means that entrepreneurs, we get our money first, okay? Employees, they have to pay Uncle Tom, they got to pay their Social Security, they got to pay their retirement, you got to pay the state, got to pay the city, then you get paid. Entrepreneurs, we get paid, we pay our expenses for our business, and then you can have two choices. One is that you can pay taxes throughout the year, which is an estimated tax amount, or at the during tax time, you keep track of all your records, you keep track of your taxes, how much you should have been paying in taxes, and you keep track of how many expenses you use. So that's the difference, is that in entrepreneurs, we can write off those expenses to deduct how much taxes we have to pay. A lot of entrepreneurs will be honest with you and say, hey, you know, maybe they don't pay taxes. Maybe they don't have to, because their business costs money to continue to make money, if that makes sense. So I'm not a licensed tax professional. This is knowledge that I picked up on my own and knowledge that I picked up from licensed CPAs and the like tax professionals and stuff like that. So yes, as an entrepreneur, you don't pay taxes first. You pay yourself first, then you pay taxes. Okay, so that's the difference, is that instead of making $21 an hour or $30 an hour, and you're getting taxed immediately on that $30. So like say it's an entrepreneur who I just got an Airbnb. I'm sorry. That's so, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just got an Airbnb book and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Oh. Okay, sorry. Okay. Basically what I'm trying to say is that there are tax benefits to being entrepreneur. an entrepreneur. You get your money first. What this also means, okay, and this is the low for y'all. If you are in a bad financial predicament, okay, which means that it could be you owe child support, and I'm not condoning not paying child support, not condoning that, but I do know a lot of people who are crippled by child support because they continue to work 9 to 5s or, quit jobs. And not only are they getting taxed, but they're getting that child support tax too. Or you're getting that student loan payment taken out too. Those are things. Garnishing of wages is something that is really real. And if you don't know what I mean, what I'm trying to say is that when you are an employee, all your money runs through the government before you get it. So it runs through the system and you have to pay everybody before you pay yourself. Meaning that $21, $30 an hour, however much it is, it ain't $21 to $30 an hour. It's just not. It's more reduced, like $5. Like that. The more money you make, the more that they take. That's how it works as an employer and the employee. And the thing about that is that because you have all your money running through the government has a say on where your money goes and how much of it that you get. So like I said, if you are in a predicament where you have child support, that type of situation, I don't know exactly how the specifics with that works, but I do know entrepreneurs, we get our money first, then we pay our taxes. We get our money first, then we pay our expenses, then we pay our taxes. That's just one thing that I know. And I know for me speaking as an entrepreneur now, full time for the last couple of years, but for more than a couple of years, about, I would say, pretty much as long as I've had my house. So that's about almost 3 years now. So entrepreneurs, you can be an entrepreneur and still work a 9 to 5. That's something too. Okay. Don't feel like you have to take the leap and be stuck over here and figuring it out all the time. Like, I'm just saying, entrepreneurship is something you need to pursue because it's money that you can get, and you would get all your money versus half of it or less with taxes. Okay. So you need this course. So keep listening, you guys. Some common write-offs, some kind of common business expenses that you can reduce your taxes with legally, y'all. Legally. And I will direct you to the tax resources that you can go get this information yourself, because like I said, I'm not a tax professional. Travel. Okay. If you're traveling for business, and mind you, this could be, I'm a real estate investor. I could go to Atlanta to go look at some real estate, but I also could go to Atlanta and have a vacation, but happen to go look at some real estate while I'm down there. That means my travel there is covered. Okay, deductible. I'm not going to say the amounts and stuff like that. I'm not a tax professional. Travel, your meals while you're traveling, doing business, your miles, it's miles or expenses is basically the way the deduction goes. So if you're going to deduct by mileage, you can deduct by mileage, or you can deduct by expenses, like the actual amount that you spent on gas. That's 2 different ways you can do it. But either way, that's money that you're going to save on taxes and money that you were going to spend already. Like I said, being an entrepreneur or an influencer, especially, your life can become a write-off. The things that you normally do can now become reasons to reduce or wind up being the government owes you at the end of the year. Like, that's how it is for some entrepreneurs. I can speak and say that there have been times where the government owed me and I didn't pay any taxes because I spent so much running my business. So this is something that there's a balance to this. It's no perfect way to do it, but I'm telling you, would you rather have all of your money or half of your money? All of your money or 75% of your money? I'd rather have all of my money. I'm not saying quit your 9 to 5. I'm just saying, listen up, okay? Entrepreneurship is an alternative that you can pursue with or without a 9 to 5, okay? Another benefit of entrepreneurship is that there are passive and active ways to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to always show up to make money. Sometimes you have an asset that will show up for you. So like, for an example, I have a house, I have spare bedrooms. I rent those bedrooms out for additional income. I do this through Airbnb or the typical 2-3 month, 12-month lease or whatever. But I rent out those rooms for extra income, but I don't necessarily have to do anything once I get a tenant in there. You know what I mean? Once the tenant's in there, unless I'm doing daily rentals where I have to clean up, that's more active. But passive is your money coming in while you're sleeping, meaning you're making money while you sleep. So that's the way that I like. That's the one stream, one way of making money that I really prefer, because it allows me the freedom to do things like this, to share my knowledge, and to actually like have the time to create and conceptualize an e-course like this. So it's very important that we start thinking about ways that we can buy back time. If you can make more money in less time, why wouldn't you? You know, time is so precious. We only have so many hours in a day, and you need to do all the things that you need to do, including being a good partner, being good to yourself, being good to your family. You know, like these things are important. And it's not just about working. It's about working smarter, not harder. Okay. So like I said, there are passive and active ways to be an entrepreneur, and you don't have to quit your 9-to-5 to be one. Okay. So I'm so nervous. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Every city, person, and circumstance is different, but until you learn about the opportunities that are out there, you won't realize where and when to invest in your skills, knowledge, or resources. So that is what this course is for. It's to identify those opportunities for you. I'm not going to hold your hand and walk you through every single path, but what I will is show you the path. I will show you, hey, here's a way you can make some money. Here's another way you can make some money. Here's something that I have done before. Here's something that works well for me. Here's how much money I made doing this. I can show you a different path, but I can't hold your hand, because a lot of this stuff is learning by doing. So you have to be patient with the process. So yeah, I touched on the tax benefits of entrepreneurship. This knowledge is going to set you guys free. Employees pay the taxes. Employers or entrepreneurs benefit from taxes. Okay? Remember that. This new wave of what wealth is now. People used to think, and I feel like some people still do, people think that being wealthy is having a nice car or having a big house or having designer clothes and stuff like that. The truth is that the new wave of wealth is the freedom. It's the freedom to do what I want, whenever I want, to go where I want, whenever I want, to have the freedom of option, the freedom to choose, to say, oh, I'd rather stay at this hotel. You know, it's a little more luxurious, but I'd rather do that. Having that option, like create more income streams for yourself so that you are not just staying afloat. You can start investing in more income streams, because the truth is that I'm going to show you different ways to make more money or make money, but a lot of these ways are active ways. But the vision must be clear. You have to know why. Why do you want to be wealthy? Why do you want to have more time? For me, I want more time so I can spend time with the people I love. I want more time so I can have the freedom to not have any limitations on my life. That's important to me. What is your why? I encourage you guys to figure out your why, and everything else becomes clearer. Everything doesn't seem so hard anymore, because it's like, you know why you're doing it, if that makes sense. All right, so who is this course for? This course is for someone who is ready to try something different to start building their own wealth. This course is for someone who is tired of depending on someone else for a paycheck. And this course is for someone who would prefer daily deposits over every 2 weeks, because that 2-week wait is a scary one. You know, I've been there. I've been in places where it's been like, okay, so I made this much and my bills are this much. Okay, you know, like, can't really breathe. You know, you feel like you're suffocating. You feel like you're drowning because you are. You're drowning because a lot of people try to mimic the end result. You know, we want to do all these things, buy all these things, and just do too much. You know, I am one who has done too much a lot of times in my life. And when you do too much, so like when your expenses equal how much money you're making, you're not winning. You're just staying exactly where you're at. But when your money starts to make money for you, like when you invest in something, like for me, I invested in my house. I paid for upgrades. I paid for carpet. I paid for new flooring. I got new appliances. I got TVs mounted on the wall. I enhanced my home so that when I have someone stay here and they live here and I'm making money off of it, I'm making a good amount of money, but it's also a good experience for me as well as them. You know, like it's a good place to want to stay. So I do think that it's important that it's great that you guys invested in yourself. Now it's time to not just invest in yourself, but take the time to listen to these different pathways that you can follow and do the work. Okay? Doing the work is the hardest part, I promise you. But it's not really that hard when you get your mind out of it. Stop thinking so much. You know how long it took me to do this course, y'all? Whew. All right, so that's who the course is for. Who is this course not for? This course is not for anybody who is looking for a get rich quick, because there's no such thing. Okay, I'm sorry to say it. There's no such thing as get rich quick. Good things take time. That's just the honest truth. This is not for anybody who isn't willing to change old ways or old behaviors or old habits. This is not for anyone who is comfortable where they're at. If you're comfortable where you're at, you can click off. You know, no disrespect, but I don't know why you're wasting your time. If you're comfortable and you're happy and you're good, you know, there's always more. There is always more. It gets better and it gets better. So if you're comfortable, I can't do much for you. But if you are someone who is motivated and hungry, I can help you. I'm not going to do the work for you. You must be willing to take this information and take it even further to better your future. This is going to help you start to identify more ways to start building generational wealth for your family. Without additional income, you'll be stuck in the barrel of crabs like the rest of everybody else. And you're at the will of the company that you work for or whatever governing force you work for. I don't want you guys to be crabs in the barrel. I want you to be that person to help somebody pull somebody up. You know, we shouldn't be trying to pull each other down and stop each other from being successful. We should be trying to elevate each other so that we can all move forward together, you know? So that's something that's very important for me. That's the reason why I created this course, honestly. My goal as your Black guidance counselor is to guide people to the resources that are hidden in plain sight and to give them the knowledge and encourage you guys to really take the time to follow your dream, but take the time to create a plan, to look within yourself to find the vision. And the vision is not going to always be clear. It's not always going to be, you're not going to always know why you're doing what you're doing. But once you start following the path, things just start to fall in line. And that's a part of the spiritual aspect of it. But truly, my goal is to encourage you guys to follow your own path. Follow your own path. I don't know what path that is. I can't tell you what path that is. Only you know. Only you and you only know where it is that you would like to go. And the world is as big as you can imagine it. So I encourage you guys to think bigger. Think bigger. You deserve more. We deserve more. And the ability to build wealth now, like the capacity that we have, the technology that we have access to start building, it's amazing. And it's also something that I encourage you all to take advantage of. leverage this knowledge that you're getting and build something for yourself. Because wouldn't you rather be able to say, like, I have more than enough? I don't just have enough. I have more than enough now. I have way more than enough. I can start saving. I can start investing. I can start building, creating assets. I can do this. You know, wouldn't it be great? Just imagine that feeling. Like, imagine the feeling of having multiple zeros in your bank account, multiple zeros, like 5-6 figures in your bank account and in your savings. Imagine having properties in your name, in your business name, vehicles in your business name, and they're all making you money while you sleep, while you're chilling at home with your family. Money is collecting in your account. Imagine that feeling, okay? Why did I make this course? So the reason why, I know I'm taking a minute to give you guys an introduction. I hope you bear with me. The reason why I made this course is a bunch of reasons. Number one, a lot of people, I drive Lyft. That is one thing that I do to make myself money consistently. It's a very flexible way of making money. But a lot of people who I pass by and who come into my car, they feel stuck. You know, I'm picking people up from work. I'm dropping them off to work. A lot of people feel stuck. A lot of people are complaining. A lot of people are not happy with where they're at. And I know this because I talk to these people all the time. And I understand. I understand. But the world is not as bad as you think it is. I promise you. How you view things is how they are. If you feel stuck and you are stuck and you don't see yourself getting unstuck, you're not going to get unstuck. Your mind controls everything around you. Your perception controls everything around you. I'm getting into a whole different thing, but what I wanted to explain is that you have the control. You have the control, and with this course, you will have the knowledge to follow any path out there, because you will understand what it means to invest in yourself, invest in your assets, and to create income producing streams. Okay, that is what is this about. So when I was in high school, I had a guidance counselor. His name was Mr. Bowen, I believe. White guy, not really related, like not really good at relating at all. He tried to tell me that it wasn't likely I was going to get into any college. He tried to tell me it wasn't likely that I was going to get scholarships or I was going to get anything to cover my tuition. He told me college was the only way to be successful. And a 9-to-5 was the only way to survive. Told me I couldn't get into so many things that he told me I couldn't do. Okay. I did go to college. I double majored. I got 75% of my tuition covered by scholarships. I got my tuition covered for 1, if not 2 of those years. I graduated with honors. And yeah, he was wrong. He didn't know what he was talking about. The moral of that story is that when someone is giving you advice and they're telling you something, keep in mind that if that person is not doing better than you, or if that person is not exhibiting qualities or demonstrating something that you would like to have or obtain yourself, why are you listening to them? Don't listen to people who have never done what it is that you would like to do, because they cannot give you honest advice, because they don't even know if they can do it. So if they don't believe they can do it, why would they think you could? Okay? So be careful with advice from other people. It's better to listen within. That's for one. Another thing people try to tell me was that I couldn't get into real estate at a young age. And I purchased my first home at 23. That was a major accomplishment for me. And that's not to be arrogant or cocky or anything. It's just more so, despite the people who told me I couldn't, I still did. So the reason why I created this course is to tell you that if you have a vision in your mind, if you have something that you would like to try, something you would like to do, maybe it's just you want to make more money. Don't think that you can't, because you can. You definitely can. And there are many, many, many different ways you can. So that's why I created this course. I'm here as living proof to you guys that you can manifest any life that you want and that your future is in your hands. Okay? I'm gonna go into a little bit about what you will walk away with. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off track. So one thing that you're gonna walk away with for sure is that you're gonna now be able to identify plenty of free opportunities to start creating your own wealth, regardless of your current situation. You will learn which online platforms you can use, technology you can use today to start leveraging and building additional income streams for yourself immediately after this course. Okay? Now, I'm going to get into my story a little bit about how I became an entrepreneur. And yeah, I'm just going to get into that. Way back when I was in college, this is back when I had more of an overweight problem. I was heavily overweight. I had relaxed hair, and basically I didn't know who I was, still finding myself. I had started basically, how do I want to do this? So way back in college, I was in a different stage in my life. I was a sophomore. I definitely didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know anything. I knew a little bit, but I was still getting to know me. Part of that was finding a passion of mine, which was natural hair. So I had started a YouTube channel with two of my best friends, and it was initially for me to just help them film and edit it and stuff like that. But eventually it turned into me actually getting onto the channel too, and like showing myself and talking and just putting myself out there more. So that was something that didn't necessarily produce me income, but it kind of started to show me the things that I do like doing. So like I like creating content. I like filming myself. I like seeing my progress, my progression. I like girly things, I like that. So kind of identifying that and pushing myself out of my comfort zone was good, because it encouraged me to be more confident in myself, because I wasn't at all. So it kind of forced me to come out of my shell a little bit and like mingle with others and really get to know who I am. So back then I actually got a big chop. I cut my hair completely off and kind of restarted my journey, my self-love journey. And with that, we started actually, I was into the natural hair thing. We were both into the natural hair thing. Me and my best friend, we went to this event. It was called the Naturalista Hair Show. And at that hair show, we both were wild. Like we were just like amazed at how many people would show up for an event like that. That was solely around education of around natural hair, and like people coming and bringing products and selling products, sales and stuff like that. It was very exciting. So when we saw that event, we were just like, okay, so that was really cool. We had to travel outside of town to go to that event, because the school we went to was a predominantly white school. So we didn't really have many resources there at all. And the Black women on campus were like spread out, so like, see ya in a week, maybe, so basically, we were just like, okay, so how do we get this event? How do we get our own event like this? How do we do this? So we started asking questions, started reaching out to people, different departments, and we found out that in order to start an event on campus, you have to have a club. So we're like, okay, we'll just start a club. We'll start a natural hair club and do it like that. So we had to do a lot of different things like marketing, getting sponsorships and getting brand deals and stuff like that. We had to do a lot of different things, but it was really cool for me, because it was just like, okay, I took something I was passionate about and I found a way to produce income with it. Was it a lot of income? No, but it still was income. It was just like, okay, here's something, because we're in college and we're just thinking, okay, in college, you're kind of thinking about the rest of your life. And you're just like, okay, so 2 more years and I graduate from here and then the rest of my life. That's kind of how it feels. It's like, okay, once I graduate college, I have to find a job and then the rest of your life, like it's just like it goes downhill from there. That's how we viewed it. And basically what happened was with the event, it was a success. The first time around, we had about 50 people show up, pay for tickets, got t-shirts, food, everything. It was really cool. Second time around, we tripled the numbers. So it was like about 150 to 200 people the second time around. And it was an even better event then. But it was just like, okay, reality was setting in because it was my senior year. I knew that after my year was over, I would have to move back home with my parents. So it was kind of like, okay, all right, this event planning thing was fun and everything, but back to reality. So after college, I kind of jumped straight into working and I let go of the YouTube. I let go of the natural hair passion and everything. I kind of like pushed it all in the back burner to focus on getting out of my living situation. Now, with that, I worked in a corporate job. So I immediately had a job right after college. I was doing interviews right leading up to graduation. I was not playing around. So once I did land the job, it was a good opportunity. It was making some money, like more money than I ever made before. About 40K, that range. But it wasn't anything to do with anything I majored in. So I was a psychology and a film double major in college, but I was working in a corporate job collecting bills, collecting on bills that the company I worked for, their whole process, basically helping them make money. That was my job. So with that, I did a good job with that job. I'm not gonna lie. I got promoted, got to management within a year, which was great, but it wasn't aligned with me. I found myself constantly looking around at people who were not happy. They weren't where they want to be. And they're just following the crowd, it was just a bunch of people just following the crowd in life. And that is something that I picked up on in a lot of different settings is that, a lot of people are scared to just do their own thing. They're scared to just figure it out, and I can understand the fear around that. Like homelessness is real and you don't want to experience that. Absolutely not. So, but like I said, back to the journey. I was working the corporate job solely to make money to get out of my parents' house. Boom. Now, made enough money, started looking for a place to live. Instead of pursuing the renting route, I decided to pursue the home ownership route because I really did not see the point of saving to rent because I knew that I was going to have to keep renting. Once you're in the renting cycle, it's easy to stay in that cycle and just constantly rent, constantly have to move, constantly have to do those things. It just didn't appeal to me. I was thinking, okay, if there's a way for me to get a house, that would be ideal. If there's a way for me to get property in my name, that would be a great situation for me. So that's exactly what I did. It was not a quick process. It was not easy. It was very challenging, but it was very well worth it because my intention was the house was clear. My intention was that, okay, I know I'm staying in this state for the next couple of years. I know I'm going to stay by family for a little bit. I know that if I have more than one bedroom, I can rent out the separate bedrooms and make extra income. Okay. I know that I'm going to be adding to my equity. I know that I'm going to be building my net worth now that, I'm pursuing ownership versus renting because at the end of your 1 year lease, you spent all that money throughout the year. And then at the end of the 1 year, what do you have? What do you have? This is not to shun anybody who rents because I know that renting is not home ownership is not the right route for everybody at a certain age. But for me, it was just like clear, okay, this is the direction I want to go. Now, the next step in my entrepreneurship journey was actually renting out a room in my house. that was producing extra income. And basically that was specifically for, I always knew that was something I wanted to do because it would help me pay down the mortgage faster and it would relieve some of the bills for me. So it was just like, this is an asset that's going to make me money. That was the whole intention. And it's also a place where I can lay my head at night. It's security. It's solid security. I encourage people to pursue home ownership because it will lead you somewhere. Renting is just going to lead you and just lead you and just keep leading you. I don't want people to get stuck in cycles like that. So I definitely encourage you to start thinking about that. Okay. Got my home, started renting out the room. That's the next step in my entrepreneurship journey. I was still working my job. Another thing I was doing was working Lyft on the side. So I was working Lyft, making extra money that way. I wasn't being smart with the money that I was making. I was just spending it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't encourage you guys to just make extra money just to spend extra money, because you can get in a habit where it's just like your expenses are always going to equal how much money you have, and you're not saving and you're not investing and stuff like that. So I don't recommend you going that route, but I have to be honest and open with you guys. So started working Lyft. Pandemic rolls around. By this point, I had quit my job. I had just decided that I wasn't going to continue that route. I wanted to pursue real estate. That was my intentional initial goal, was like, I was going to get my real estate license. I completed the course. Basically, the way it was like, okay, if I didn't quit my job, I wouldn't have enough time to finish the course in time because I had a real estate job lined up. Now, the pandemic happened, y'all. Like literally the day of my test was the day for my licensing for the real estate license, was the same day that they shut everything down. So that was like a clear sign from God for me that it was just like, okay, real estate, you can go the real estate route, but you don't have to get a real estate license to do real estate. Like that was the realization that I was coming to, is that you can do real estate for yourself. You don't have to necessarily help people go buy homes and help people sell their home and stuff like that. That doesn't have to be your path. For me, I just didn't see the appeal there with the realtor because it was just so much work to me to get a sale, and it just didn't align with me. I'm not saying real estate is a bad route. Like being a real estate agent is a great route for a lot of people. I know you can make a lot of money in that route, but for me, it just didn't align with the things that I saw as important. Like I have a dog, I have to be home a lot, I have to have flexibility. Like real estate does have that flexibility, but it would require too much. That path, it was just clear it wasn't for me. Now, from there, I progressed to creating my page, which is now Your Black Guidance Counselor, but then it was called Shop It's a Curl Thing. I initially was just trying to sell t-shirts, wasn't really successful with that. I'm gonna be honest with you, just didn't work out, but I pursued that path. And then I kind of came into this path that I'm on now, which is sharing my knowledge, talents, and resources with others and being your Black guidance counselor. Like that path, that realization, this path was not my path when I took that dive, if that makes sense. So it's like, sometimes you don't know exactly where you're going, but if you start following a different direction, you go away from the crowd, you be surprised of the things that come across your way, of the things that are out there for you, that you can start leading in that direction now because you have the time on your hands to actually pursue it, if that makes sense. So pandemic went through, that situation had a bit where I was underemployed, and yeah, just had some issues there. And then from there, I kind of pivoted where I started really taking Lyft seriously and realizing that it wasn't that I wasn't making enough money with Lyft and Uber. It was that I wasn't being consistent in going out there and being out there consistently and making the money consistently. Like that was something that was very important for me, because then I can realize, okay, you can be above, you can have more than enough now because you're running out the room, you're making money with Lyft, and you're doing this podcast, you're doing influencing, you're doing what you want to do.